the hottest up-and-comer on the MMA scene right now, Khamzat Chimaev. Man, where do I start? As soon as I saw a video of this guy, and I've been saying this for the past couple years since the rising of Khabib, man, how many cousins does Khabib have? How many guys over in Russia fight like this? How many guys are mimicking Khabib's fight style that we just haven't seen before? And this guy emerges, and my first thought is what everyone else thought: Khabib 2.0. And the more I analyze this guy, I realize he has Khabib caliber wrestling, Khabib style wrestling, except he's much bigger and stronger. And this style that we first saw from the Dagestanians, and now we're seeing from Chimaev, it's just a unique puzzle, the way that they utilize ground and pound in such an offensive manner. And it's a puzzle that hasn't been solved yet. We're going to continue to see how it evolves. I mean, again, we don't know how many fighters are over there in Dagestan fighting the style that Khabib does, or other parts of Russia utilizing the same style. We don't know, people that are going to mimic this unbeatable style that Khabib's been able to generate. And an interesting thing about Chimaev, too, is he was on the Russian junior national wrestling team, I believe. And at the nationals, for him to, I guess win his national spot in freestyle, he didn't have a single point scored on him the whole tournament. No one of my knowledge in this man's adulthood or fighting career has ever taken him down. And the knockout, and not only that, because your first analysis looking at this guy is, well, he's another born wrestler. He's going to hold people down and utilize, the dragging ground and pound style such as Khabib. But he comes out there against GM3, and Jesus Christ, man, that one-punch knockout power is scary. Because he's naturally a 70-pounder that's fighting at 185. He's the smaller guy going in there, touches his man one time, puts him down. I'm going to go out on a limb and say I don't know I'm saying he's smashing Damian Maia, because what's Damian going to do? I mean, look at how Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belts have fared against Khabib. The style of ground and pound that they use doesn't open the door for them to get submitted. They don't work from the top of your full guard like Chael Sonnen did for his career. They pressure you into the cage, they take your back, they lace a leg, they do that Dagestani handcuff, and your whole fight is spent trying to get back to your feet. I mean, you're not utilizing jiu-jitsu from that position. And Chimaev, he doesn't have to hit the ground with Maia. If he just wants to not risk it, the way he's throwing power shots, he can come at him kind of like how Gilbert Burns did, Love Maia to death, mad respect, legend of the sport. But he's pretty fucking old, guys. He's 42, and if I'm wrong, he's 41. And he just doesn't have the speed to strike with somebody that fast and powerful and young and explosive. And I think Chimaev knocks him out, and at that point, who's next for this guy? If he rolls through Damian Maia, who is next for this guy? How do you tell me that this man doesn't get a top 10 opponent? I don't normally do this, guys, because I'm normally anti-hype train. I shit on Conor McGregor when he was coming up. I shit on Israel Adesanya when he was coming up. Because there's a lot of young fighters with undefeated records that haven't been tested yet. But with that being said, 2021, Khamzat Chimaev is the middleweight champion of the world. And let me tell you why. He's currently fighting at 170 and 185. And I do believe he has the ability to beat anyone at those weight classes. But I do believe, stylistically, his road to a title at 185 is much clearer than the welterweight division, which is stacked right now. Because, who are the suspects at 185 that stand between him and that belt? Right offhand, you have Yoel Romero, who's on his way out. You have Paulo Costa, who's a musclehead, explosive striker. And you have the champion himself, and this is my biggest point in this, Israel Adesanya, who is, a UFC poster child now. He's undefeated. He destroyed Robert Whittaker, who is a great champion at middleweight before him. I think that Chimaev is a nightmare matchup for Israel Adesanya. Israel has never been tested by that high level of a wrestler. And you can say Yoel, and I don't fucking count that, because Yoel doesn't use his wrestling. He took Izzy down. He shot one time in that fight. Izzy got back to his feet, and he never shot again. Yoel doesn't ground and pound people. He was an Olympic freestyle wrestler, silver medalist 20 years ago. He takes people down and they get back up. So he doesn't use his wrestling. He uses his dynamic striking. What my point is, Israel Adesanya hasn't fought somebody that has that style of taking you down, lacing your leg, holding you down, wearing you out, making you carry his weight the entire fight. He hasn't fought somebody like that. Because the only other fighter in the UFC that's like that is Khabib at 55. And if that matchup happens, I could see Khamzat dominating that match. I could see Khamzat winning that matchup right now, today. And you look at who else in that division. I mean, it's outlandish, guys, but who's going to stop this guy?